I really wouldn't know. I I grabbed a wrench and joined in the reconstruction pretty... Oh, well, the old girl had seen a lot of damage, especially where the Mirelurks used to nest, and where the super mutants kept trying to get in. I guess the mutants and the Myers got so busy fighting each other. Does that tell you what you need to know? See you later.
Welcome to the Weatherly Hotel. I'm your hostess, Vera Weatherly. Well, I really shouldn't tell you, but have you heard about Polly Cantelli? He's addicted to chems. His poor wife Cindy is at her wit's end. You haven't heard? Angela has the hots for Diego. But since he's a priest, he's been putting her off. One of these days, she's just going to jump his bones. They say Mr. Lopez is losing it. He stands on the top of the bridge tower for hours at a time, just staring out over the city. Well, I could tell you all about my hotel. I mean, you hear rumors and you make guesses. Well, if it'll help, I once heard that this place... Eventually, some poor soul they thought would be lunch fought back, and they say he was the first counselor for the upper deck. Farewell.
Hey.
Look, Dr. Zimmer, we've been over this. We don't know about your runaway...
Look, this is a restricted area. I'm tired of telling you people. It's you. My heavens, you look so much like him. You're James's daughter, aren't you? What are you doing here? You were too young to remember, and I suppose James never spoke of me. Typical. I am Dr. Madison Lee. I worked with your parents many years ago. Now I run the science lab here in Rivet City. It was all I had left. When your mother died, your father decided to leave with you. He abandoned our work. We had no choice but to do the same. What? Well, I'm not sure what there is to tell. Your father and we worked together for a long time. I think we were really on to something. But then there were complications. The project was abandoned and your father disappeared. I returned here to Rivet City and established the lab you see before you now. I suppose so. I worked with them for several years until your mother died and your father decided it was time to leave. What else do you want to know? Yes, your mother was... well, she was a good woman. A very dedicated scientist. Your father loved her very much. It was a shame that she died. She had been excited to meet you. Complications from childbirth. None of us were expecting it. We weren't as prepared as we could have been. You have to understand, we were struggling with scavenged, derelict equipment. We did everything we could. Yes, well, I'm sorry it wasn't enough. James? He was very driven, determined to change the world. Well, we all were back then, I suppose. He was focused on two things, really. Making Project Purity work, and your mother. When she died, I think he gave up. I know he wanted to keep you safe, but I think part of what he did was run away. But it seems that he never really was able to get over the idea. I'm frankly shocked that he waited all this time, and wants to try again. Okay. You mean you haven't? I assumed he sent you here. For that matter, aren't you supposed to be in a vault? James said he left you there. Did you? I was under the impression that's exactly the opposite of what he wanted for you. Well, you won't find him here. He's come and gone already. Your father insisted that we return to work on Project Purity. I tried telling him too much time has passed. There's no way it would work. Predictably, he refused to listen to me. He says he can prove it will work and headed off to the old lab. I'm sorry, I don't know what else to tell you. It's in the old Jefferson Memorial Building, northwest of here. Please, don't go after him. It was foolish of him to even think about going there alone. Project Purity, we call it. It was simple, really. Fresh, clean water for everyone. Such a simple idea, and yet... The plan was to build a facility that could purify all the water in the tidal basin at once. No radiation, no muck, just clear water. It just turned out to... We had the basic principles down, we understood most of the science behind it, but the radiation in the area is so pervasive. Small-scale tests were fine, but anytime we tried to test the process on a larger scale, it was just... too much. Maybe if we'd had more time... Look, I don't have the resources to support James's foolish endeavor. You understand? I could tell you all about the science lab, but even though I was here near the start, it all seems like a lifetime ago. Good luck finding your father.
Robot, and we don't care. This lab is dedicated to solving real
This place could use a few more people willing to work. Everything is falling apart.
I'm Janice Kaplinski, Chief Botanist. What do you need? If it hasn't got to do with the science quarters, I'm
the only one willing to fix it.
Dr. Lee is
Please excuse me. There is much work to be done. I help Dr. Lee when she needs equipment moved.
trying to save lives. Your constant interruptions are interfering with them.